Hey there, welcome to Extra Healthy-ish, the big sister podcast to Healthy-ish. Both podcasts are from Body and Soul, and we've designed them to give you that extra oomph in your day for your mind, body and soul. I'm your host, Felicity Harley. Now, I came across a brilliant expert the other day and I had to get her on to speak to you. Now, if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you know we talk a bit about social media and the impact on body image and mental health. Well, Dr. Jasmine Fardouli, she is a research fellow at UNSW in Sydney, and she has a specific focus on the impact of social media on body image and mental health. In fact, she's published a truckload of studies on everything from the influence of the hashtag to the impact of the words written underneath the picture in your feed. I wanted to get her on to help you navigate the toxic side of health and fitness on the gram, on TikTok. We all know it and we all know it when we see it. And I also wanted her to describe to you what healthy social media use looks and feels like. Jasmine, thank you for coming on Extra Healthy-ish. Now, how do you stay extra healthy-ish in your life?
Well, I think kind of focusing on, my area of research is I try and take the kind of research finding in regard to social media and mental health and body image and try and create that more positive environment for myself on social media. So I don't follow many beauty influencers or people who promote beauty ideals. It's probably, easier for me. I think for teenagers, it's probably harder to say, don't follow any influencers or people in certain fields. So it's kind of hard to kind of compare those things. But for myself, I try to follow things that I'm interested in. So I have a lot of interior design pages that I follow or humorous pages or travel pages. I also try to turn off notifications on my phone from social media, because although time spent on social media is probably not the biggest driver of why it can be harmful, there are so many times when we're kind of constantly drawn back into those, online environments. So I try to limit notifications or things that may pull me into the social media world at times when I may not really want to be on social media. So that's what I plan to do.
Establish healthy habits, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But first, I want to talk about your research. You've conducted a lot of research into the effects of curated social media feeds on body image and mental health, particularly in young women. So, in the past couple of years, is there any research that you've done that has perhaps concerned you? Or has it all?
Well, I'm kind of constantly going from one side to the other. Sometimes I think, this is all terrible with social media and we should be really concerned. And other times I think, it's maybe not as bad as I think. So I kind of flip-flop. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's because, social media can really be harmful for some people, but it also might not be harmful for others. And it really depends what people are following and what they're posting. So I think that, especially for parents, I don't think all parents need to be worried about their kids spending time on social media. I think it's more if they're following certain types of people, if they're posting certain types of content, that's where there's probably more concern than just being concerned more generally. But I think the things that probably concern me most is that, we've known that curated, enhanced, ideal type images can be harmful for body image. But the more research we do trying to improve the impact of those images, the more I'm realizing that it's really hard to stop those images from being harmful. And I think that's what mainly probably concerns me most of all, is that there doesn't seem to be a quick fix. So, putting a label on an image to say it's been edited or enhanced doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter if people are aware of the fact that it's not real. The image is still harmful for body image. It's still promoting beauty ideals. It still puts people in a negative mood. And so I think that's where I'm starting to focus more of my research, is looking at how we can, create a more positive environment on social media, what content we should be encouraging people to view and post. And we need to know a lot more in that space because, ideal images do seem to be harmful. They are quite common on social media. And I'm not quite sure what the solution is on a broader scale.
Yes.
I think as individuals we can create a more positive environment for ourselves, but on a broader scale, I don't think it's going to be an easy thing to stop.
So on that basis. It's more about empowering ourselves to have a healthy relationship. So can you talk me through what healthy social media use looks and perhaps feels like when you actually view the images?
Yeah, well, I think when it comes to body image, it's kind of reducing the amount of curated images and enhanced images that you're seeing, and having more balance. So, it seems like looking at images of people with lots of different body shapes and sizes seems to be better because it gives you more context. It's more reflective of reality. And also looking at more natural images of people, so not just enhanced and edited images of people seems to be helpful. But I think taking the focus off appearance altogether would probably be, if I could click my fingers and make everything different, I think it would be, having more appearance neutral social media kind of content. So, focusing on travel images or even science stories or anything that you're interested in. I think that makes social media a more healthy environment. But there's also comments, and there's, and comments can also be very appearance focused. So, and I think that when it comes to viewing other people's comments, other people's posts, comments and likes don't seem to be as important as the content in the images or the videos that we're viewing. But when we post content, the comments and the likes can be quite, motivating, for us to post content that we think is going to get more positive comments and likes and things like that. So that can all add to the kind of appearance focus of social media environments, and avoiding making appearance-based comments can also be helpful. And then also just limiting time, because although, like I said before, time spent on social media isn't the key, because people could be looking at, puppy images for hours on end, and that's not likely to be harmful for body image or potentially their mood. But we are likely to be exposed to a lot of different types of content on social media, including idealized content. So to try and balance our time is also, I think, helpful.
I do love your tip about comments, because often someone will comment about something that's happening in their career or their life, and then they look beautiful when they post their picture, and then there'll be a stream of comments about what they look like. So that's a great tip that maybe us ourselves can actually comment more about what sort of person they are or what they're doing, as opposed to what they look like.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. I think sometimes people say with that as well, like if it's just a selfie, what else can you comment on? So I think some posts make it, aren't as easy to make appearance neutral comments, but maybe then just avoiding comments or things like that. Just trying to reduce the appearance focus of comments is helpful.
We'll be back after this short break with more from Dr. Jasmine Fardouli. Now, you've done a bit of research into hashtags. You've done some research into no makeup selfie, BoPro. What role do hashtags play in all this? I mean, do they perpetuate it? How can we navigate this minefield?
Yeah, so I mean, hashtags can be good in that they can kind of bring a lot of similar content together. So if people are wanting to, search for body positivity on social media, then a hashtag can bring up a lot of content under that, which is great. But I think sometimes, because anyone can use a hashtag on their post, sometimes the hashtags that you search for don't just contain the content that you would expect to come up. So, for example, if you search hashtag body positive or body positivity, you can often get a lot of curated, thin ideal images and very sexualized images as well. And so I think there can be a lot of positive things about hashtags, and that it can help you seek out the content you're looking for. But you have to be quite critical if you're just going to be looking at hashtags to think of whether the content actually fits with the type of messages that you're expecting to get under that content, under that hashtag. So in hashtag no makeup selfies as well, or no makeup, sometimes they contain very natural, very raw, no makeup images. Sometimes they contain light makeup with good lighting, which, would probably be just a slightly less idealized version of a very enhanced image. So yeah, I think when we're thinking about hashtags, we also need to think really critically about whether the content is consistent with what we would be expecting under that hashtag. And that's where looking at potentially influencers or accounts that are more consistent with that hashtag, so body positive accounts and, more natural people who post more natural images just more broadly, following the accounts, you're probably going to get more consistent content than just looking at a hashtag.
Yeah, good advice. And
What role does, we've had the recent whistleblower from Facebook, Frances Hagen, and what role do you think Facebook has in all this? I mean, what can we do here? I mean, we can take responsibility of what we do, but at some degree they have to come to the party as well, don't they? What's your take on that?
I think it's really complicated. So I think with the whistleblower situation, it's not surprising, that we have known for more than 2 years that social media can cause harm for body image, and I'm sure Facebook were aware of that as well. The concerning thing was that it was not, that they don't tell anyone about the research that they do, and they're not transparent about the findings. That's quite concerning. But in regard to what they can do, I think there's some things that are under their control. So I think that they have algorithms within the platforms that show you more of the same content that you're viewing. And this is also why I find a little bit concerning, is that for someone who may be more vulnerable to body image concerns and who really has internalized those beauty ideals, they're more likely to seek out content that does promote beauty ideals, that is idealized. And if they're seeking that content out, they're going to be recommended more and more and more and more of that. And that's where it can be, really become
a vicious cycle.
And it's a cycle. So I think there could be more diversity created within the algorithm so that people are showing different images of different body shapes and sizes. And I think we know that filters can be harmful because they also promote unattainable beauty ideals. Everyone's having the same facial features when they're using these features and when they're using these filters. And that's quite concerning because it's promoting a beauty ideal that no one can achieve. So I think reducing the ease with which they can do that. But then I also think that some of it is out of their control, in that some of it is human nature. We want to present ourselves positively to others. That's not new when it comes to social media. That is just potentially a human trait. Social media gives us a platform to really control how we appear. And so it maybe is quite natural for people to want to present themselves positively and in an attractive manner to other people on social media. And I think any platform where we're going to see the most attractive pictures of other people, people naturally also make comparisons. That's also potentially a human behavior. So if we're in an environment where we're making a lot of comparisons to people we think are more attractive than us, then that's always going to be potentially bad for body image. So I think there are things that platforms can do, but I think it's potentially a broader issue around how much focus is placed on the importance of being physically attractive within our society and how narrow the beauty ideals are, not just on social media, but just in society more broadly. So I think it's complicated.
Yeah, very complicated. And yeah. I agree. I feel, as I said, I was editor of Women's Health for many years. I've worked in magazines, and I think it is changing and has slowly changed. I feel like we are embracing and normalizing more body shapes, more skin colours, more looks and everything. And I think it's wonderful, but I still think we have got so far to go. What are your top tips perhaps for developing healthy habits around our social media use?
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned before, trying to remove notifications, limiting your time on social media can be helpful. Thinking critically about the content you're viewing on social media and how it makes you feel. Thinking about the motivation behind the posts. So, why did someone post that content? Are they trying to promote a product? Are they trying to promote themselves in a certain way? And the more you think critically, the more motivated you probably will be to change your environment if you're noticing that it makes you feel bad. Following pages that you're interested in that aren't focused on appearance, reducing appearance-based conversations and the amount of, enhanced content that you post as well in regard to your appearance especially, and unfollowing people or reducing your exposure to people that do promote, beauty ideals, fitspiration type content, anything that's promoting a very one-sided, enhanced version of their life and their appearance, and where, they are promoting beauty ideals that are unattainable really for most people. I think that is going to be helpful. But I think another important thing, not just on social media, but broadly, is to try and focus on other aspects of ourselves that we like or we can get self-worth from. If we focus so much on our physical appearance as giving us a sense of self-worth or being important for our happiness, then that's also key to driving us to want to view those types of, posts on social media. So, thinking about skills and hobbies or other aspects of ourselves that we can invest more of our time and energy into is, I think, really helpful, because I think that will then have a knock-on effect for our social media environments as well.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a wonderful saying, see the good in others. And sometimes I actually remind myself of that and think, okay, I'm seeing the good, but I'm seeing the good about who you are as a person, or what you've achieved, or what sort of mother you are, or friend, or sister, or, there's so much more to us than, what we look like. Jasmine, thank you so much for coming on Extra Healthy-ish.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
There you have it. Her top tips: think critically and curate your feeds to make you feel good, make you feel inspired. Wasn't she wonderful? Dr. Jasmine Fardouli, a wealth of knowledge and advice. Now, if you want more from us, more other fabulous health and fitness advice, make sure you listen to other episodes of Extra Healthy-ish or Healthy-ish, our other podcast. We release that one every morning, Monday to Friday, and this one every morning, Monday to Thursday. For more info, head to bodyandsoul.com.au or jump onto our Instagram or Facebook pages. Join the conversation, comment, tell us what you think. We love feedback and we love ideas for upcoming episodes as well. So thank you again for tuning into this one. And if you have a moment, we'd be so grateful if you could rate, review and subscribe to this podcast. And until tomorrow, well, at least, stay extra healthy-ish.